Hey guys, welcome back. So, in my last video, I think I mentioned that was it for Res 4. I wasn't going to do any more, but I've had a number of viewers requesting separate ways, so instead of doing loads of little clips on Twitter like I was going to do, it was just much easier to put them all together for one last full video.
Separate ways.
I guess probably the most popular request was finding out where Leon goes at the start of Chapter 1 when we see him being chased away. So here it is, and the first thing I noticed is Leon has no gun, although you can't really see that from the normal view, and you may have already guessed, he does just disappear, so sorry for any disappointment, but I can only show you what happens. Now guys, remember this door for a bit later on in the video. A lot of viewers also wanted to know whether Ashley was in the locked room in the church, as the message we get on screen when we try the door makes reference to her being on the other side. As we take the camera through the door, we can see Ashley isn't in here. In fact, the room itself is missing, other than a few details. However, surprisingly, later in the video, I'm going to show you how we can get Ashley to appear. Now, what we normally do at this point is complete the coloured light puzzle and finish Chapter 1, but we're not going to do that just yet, because on one of my previous videos I received a comment that got mine and it seems other viewers' attention, and it basically says by using cheats you can manage to end up in the main story of the game, although it's very glitchy. So I really wanted to try this out to see this for myself. So what we needed to do was use NoClip and go outside of the church and make our way into the small yard next to it. Then what we're going to do is go back out, but we're going to use the door this time, and you can see there it says you unlocked it. And believe it or not, once we leave, we are now in the main story of the game, although we can only make it so far because whenever we hit a cutscene or radio to Hunnigan, the game seems to crash. But if you remember this door from earlier in the video, well, we can now go through it. Once on the other side, however, this is when our problem begins, especially if we trigger the animation for the El Gigante. We don't see Leon anywhere in the animation, and the El Gigante dies automatically. Once the death animation finishes, the game then crashes. So the only way we can avoid this now is to go out of bounds to avoid the trigger, and by doing this we can get to the point where we go through the swamp and find the doors to the lake. But again, by going through these doors, the game seemed to crash. Going in the opposite direction, we can get quite a long way back. In fact, we can get back to the village, and if we take a look at our map now, it shows the entire first section of the game, including this gate that it says is unlocked, as well as the destination is the very first house we come across in the main game. Of course, even if we clip through the gates, we cannot get to the house because we need to be able to open the gates to load the next part of the map. If we make our way to the farmyard, we still need Ashley to get over the gate, so at this point I was completely stuck. I even went back to the church to try and free Ashley, and after completing the puzzle, to my surprise, the animation scene played. But it wasn't the animation from Separate Ways, it was from the main game. Notice that the gates go up and not down. Now when we try and open the door, check it out.
Ashley! That's right. And I have to get you out of here. Now come with me.
So we get Ashley to appear, we get the full animation, but unfortunately straight afterwards the game crashes yet again. Let's move on to Chapter 2, and the only thing I wanted to show from Chapter 2 is a request to see where the villagers push the boulder down that rolls down the hill after Leon. It looks exactly the same in Separate Ways, so here it is. Chapter 3 had quite an interesting part where we find Leon having a gun battle on the other side of this room, and although we can't be seen by Leon, we can take the camera over and have a look at what he's doing, which it turns out isn't that much, although for some reason he now has another mouth inside his mouth. Chapter 4 now, and the only thing that stood out that we haven't already seen in previous episodes was the ship that's in the docks, particularly when it explodes and sinks. And even though we can hear it, are Leon and Krauser actually fighting on top of the platform? Well, unless they're hiding somewhere, I certainly couldn't find them. Chapter 5, and a question that even I wanted to know the answer to, but didn't have a copy of Res 4 with Separate Ways on it, until now that is. But is our mystery Easter egg person still up there hiding away? Well, yes, they are. And just to let you know, I've had no official information come through of who this person is, so it is still quite the mystery, and we'll probably never find out. I guess the last character that I wanted to take a closer look at on Res 4 is the main villain, Sadler, and we can see here when we defeat him, he has this eye inside his mouth. But where does the eye come from? Well, if we zoom the camera right into his face, we can see this eye is already inside his head. Pretty cool stuff. And also, what about this big monstrous whipping arm? Where does that appear from? If we zoom in slightly and slow the footage down, we can see it expands from this tiny point located inside his hand. So there we go guys, that really is it for exploring Resident Evil 4. If you have any more questions, I will try and reply to comments, or if it's something that I can do very quickly, I will even try and post a short clip of what it may be that you want to see on Twitter. We're going to be moving on in the next episode. I've had some great game suggestions that I will try and take a look at for you guys. I also want to try and get back to my glitching roots if possible, as I kind of miss doing glitches on games. But anyways, until next time, as always, take care and stay slippy.